say. Right, go. I want to say a little bit about Marilynne, the wonderful Marilynne Robinson's new novel, Lila. There it is, Lila, you see. And Lila is the name of the woman who takes refuge in the chapel of the hero and speaker of her Gilead, John Ames, one wet day, and who says to him casually about a fortnight after she's known him, or maybe longer than a fortnight, I don't know when it is, well, you could marry me, she says. This is the story of her origins, Lila's origins. And it links up in a way with Marilynne Robinson's first novel, Housekeeping, because Lila is the child of a family which has only a minimum connection with settled life at all. Lila is the baby that was pushed out of the house because they couldn't stand her crying, and who's picked up by a new character in this series of three novels, Doll. And Doll is a wonderful character. Doll is a woman with a birthmark, an extensive birthmark, who's loved by nobody, and finds in her relationship with this baby that she's rescued from oblivion partly, a new sort of being. She becomes mother to this neglected and deserted child. And through that, Lila herself becomes somebody who sees love in terms of a child, which she would want. How is she to have that child? She gets it eventually through saying to John Ames, the preacher, "You should marry me." But there's something else about the novel that's particularly moving. This is the story of a woman who's received very little education, though she's clever, who has no words, as it were, to describe the world that she's moving in. And the power of the novel is to try to imagine what it's like to move in a world which is the world of the Depression, late Depression of the 30s, and of the great dust bowls of the Midwest, and try to come to terms with life when she finally meets John Ames. He gives a word like existence. And until that point, she hadn't really had a word and doesn't know what existence means. Yet she's had an experience of it. And the great power of the novel is this capacity of a woman gradually, as it were, to learn the value of the words, the new words that are offered to her by her meeting with John Ames, a religious man as he is, and she learns gradually to understand her situation, and yet at the same time she might at any moment return to vagrancy and wandering. And it's that which leaves you open-minded, though you know she's not going to leave him, open-minded about the novel, and really on the edge of your seat, as it were, wondering if that's what she's going to do, and her relationship with Doll, who turns out, as it were, in the end, to kill the person who had neglected Lila at the beginning, and who protects Lila to the end by, in the end, disavowing her. So it is a wonderfully moving, impressive, very different novel from Gilead and Home. As I say, impressive partly because it links up with her first novel, Housekeeping, about a woman, as it were, who has no conception of what a settled life would be like, and yet comes in the end to accept it and adopt it and become the mother of John Ames's John Ames's child. I do urge you to read this novel, even if you haven't read the other novels, because it's a very powerful and strange novel, as I say, about, in an almost Wordsworthian sense, somebody who has almost no language and yet has to try to understand her complicated world in the best way that she may.